parents, we must consciously make a mental transition from fixers, from being a fixer, I would say, and I'll explain what that means, from being a fixer to being a guide. We must make that mental transition from being a fixer to being a guide. Now, what does that mean? Oftentimes our kids come home with one problem or the other. Oh, I'm unable to do this homework, or I have this challenge, and we listen to them and immediately we realize, oh, okay, this is the solution, and then we go ahead to tell them the answer. Oh, this is what you need to do. Okay, so you just helped your child fix the problem. And what I'm saying to us is that's not the best way to go about things. If you're a fixer, that's not what you want to. That's not what you want to do. That's not what you want to keep doing. Your role as a parent should essentially be a guide, and for us at STEM Prep Tutoring, that's one thing that we consciously do. In other words, when we are trying to help a child learn something, we don't throw the answers at the child to say, oh, this is the answer to this. This is what you need to know about this. Instead, we try to ask questions. What do you think about this? Okay. What does this suggest to you? Okay, this word, what does it remind you of? Or if you're in the middle of a problem, you're asking questions like, okay, what aspect of this is most confusing to you? So we kind of ask questions because we want our children, or if, in our case as a tutoring company, our students, we want our students to think. We want to help our students to think. We don't want to throw answers at them, because when you throw answers at your child, then your child is going to keep on coming back for the answers, and at the end of the day, it's like, just an endless cycle. So mentally, as parents, when we get into conversations with our child or with our children, we must try our best to avoid telling them stuff. For example, your child comes to you and says, I want to be a lawyer. And then you go and say, oh, you want to study law? Not a good idea. Because, and then you begin to go on and on and on about all of the reasons why studying law is a bad idea. You're throwing answers at the child. A better approach will be to say, okay, so, what aspect of law are you thinking about? And then he says, then you realize he doesn't even know like there are different aspects, and then you're like, okay, go do your research, and then he comes back and tells you all the different aspects, and you say, okay, what aspect have you chosen? And then he tells you, and you say, okay, then why did you choose this? And then you begin to ask questions about, okay, what's the salary of this? And you begin to ask questions that forces your child to think for himself. And this way, your child is able to critically examine the whys and the why nots of the challenges that he or she goes through, rather than you just telling that child the answers. So mentally, as parents, we must make that transition.